Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DES209. My name is Tara Cowles, and I will be your instructor this mod. You will notice that your exits are on the upper left side of your screen, and it looks like a red dot, or just muting me and forgetting that I'm here. However, I don't recommend that if you want to get your homework done this week. You guys probably know me from the Student Success Center. You've probably had a class with me at some point or other in the last year. I have lots of familiar names, and I'm teaching both sections of the course this time. So lucky you guys. And guess what? I allow open mic night. So when I ask a question, you guys can either type it in the box or you can use the microphone. I love doing that. Little bit about me. I am married. I have two daughters, one who is a registered CNA. Ooh, Randall, I had for the first design class. Ooh, awesome.
It was something like that. It was early on during the design course. You were my instructor.
Yep, I do a lot of that. Welcome, Angela. Glad you can make it. So yeah, you guys have probably seen me around, come in to see me and talk and learn new techniques. We're going to be learning a few new things. This week, we're going to be working in InDesign and in Illustrator, two of my most absolute favorite classes. Elwood, what's your first name? Hi, Leah. How are you? And I talked to Lolita this morning.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Yeah, most of you have had me at some point or another, either as an instructor or in the Student Success Center, because I was in there all afternoon and you guys weren't. It was a rather boring afternoon. Amanda, I do believe I've seen you in the Student Success Center, so.
Wow. I didn't know. I should have came back in.
Yeah, I will be off this Saturday, but I will be working again on Monday. Like I said, my family, before I see something glittery, you guys may or may not know, I'm a little bit like Dory the fish. I see something sparkly and we are off on the wrong tangent. So kindly redirect your pilot back to the screen she's supposed to be using. I have been known to forget to record the lecture and have to re-record them. And I have been known to forget to share the screen. So it's highly important that at least somebody shows up for the live lectures so I have somebody to talk to. I am a former roller derby referee. I had to retire this fall due to a back injury, but I'm going into roller derby and mounting. And with the bad jokes I have told you guys in past classes and in the Student Success Center, you will probably understand why I chose that versus still being an official. If you guys need to get a hold of me, you can email me or text me. And I'm going to tell you guys right now that I have a brand new Skype address. You guys can find me on Skype and message me there if I'm on the computer and have forgotten my phone in the other room. You can reach me on Skype at tcowles@cap.gov. It was the shortest email I have. Okay, Miranda, let's work together so you can complete the mod before the baby gets here. We'll work together on that, okay? Tonight, we're going to talk about the introduction and the policies, although by now you guys mostly know them by heart. We're going to talk about the layout of the course and where you can get some of your readings and your tools and the lynda.com tutorials. We're going to talk about the project summary and the discussion tonight. And we're going to go over the the wonderful world of crap. And we're going to look at some examples. You guys remember what crap is, right? Contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
And then we're going to go over on Wednesday night some higher level design concepts that you may or may not be aware of, because I use them instinctively and automatically forget that I've used them. So you never know. These times are wrong because I screwed up this morning when I made my PowerPoints. We will be meeting on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I do have those times set in the classroom under the live sessions. So if you're like me and you get Pacific and Standard and Mountain and Eastern times all screwed up, I do have them in the classroom, and I will show you where those are at momentarily. Just get into the student view. Ooh, I have lots of people. Yay!
If you go into the live session link and scroll down after the paragraph, It is right there.
Yep, it's right there. Everything is calculated out for you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. However, if my stomach gets upset again, I may have to cut tonight short, and we'll do an hour tomorrow night. Does that work for everybody okay if that ends up being an issue?
That's fine by me.
Okay. If anybody needs a break, please let me know in the chat box so I can make sure everybody gets that. Ooh, I don't think I've had this many people in a session in forever. This is awesome. Okay, let's get back to the classroom. So you guys know the way around the website. You know how to get into your dashboard. You know what your courses are. Live session information. I do give you guys as much information as I can, and they are now offering transcribed lectures from Zoom. So as soon as that transcribing is done tonight, I will be posting that link for you so that you can actually read what's going on as well. Yeah, my History 220 course was the same way, Randall. I was the only person in there when I took that class. Oh, by the way, I can tutor that class if you need help with it. I just only do content, not writing. You guys have to figure out your own words. Let's see here. So we have the course information. You've got your readings and your videos. They are broken down week by week. And you do have Linda videos this week, so I highly recommend getting in there. AIGA, I am a proud card-carrying, wielding member of AIGA. They send me a link to my card every year, which I then lose and then have to go log in. But this is a great place to learn about what we're going to be doing this week for the assignment is a creative brief and how to write an effective design brief. And these are really, really important resources. Yeah, I'm more than just slides. I give bad jokes. How do you get into Linda? Well, you have to start by clicking on the Student Access Portal. Then you have to click on here, which takes you here, which then loads you into the student portal. And it will have your guys' name. It'll say Randall, Angela, Amanda, whatever your first name is listed in the class, that's what it's going to start with. While you have a course with Linda topics and certificates, I highly recommend going in here and completing as many as possible because you can put them on your resume, especially when it's things like programming and learning languages that you want to learn for web design. The next thing, when you get in there, you may have to go back to home and go back into the readings and videos because Linda's a little bit iffy. Once you get there, click on the student access, and here's the week 1 playlist. So once you click on it, it brings up the whole playlist for week 1. And it looks like you've got an hour and a half worth of outside classroom time, plus a couple of articles to read. So depending on how fast you read, you should be getting, oh, sorry guys. New share. See, this is why you guys are important in class. I need you. Okay, so you click on, let me go back one. You get into your week 1 tools, go to the student access portal. You have to click here or it won't log you into Linda. Once you're logged into Linda, it'll give you your name up here in the corner so that you know what playlist you've watched, what certificates you have, and it keeps track of everything with you through the school. So if you don't log in this way, you don't get credit for it. But once you get in here, you have access to the entire library. Everything from audio and music and 3D animation to web design, marketing, and IT. So I think you guys are going to have fun as long as for every mod that you have this, because not only does it cover After Effects, but Photoshop and Illustrator and all those wonderful tools that we use on a daily basis. Which, by the way, guys, I haven't mentioned it. Will I be putting it on YouTube? I do not know how the transcribed link is going to work yet, but there will be a link to it in class. And if I have to go through Zoom to post it, you'll be able to download it. Is there a YouTube for Linda? There is a YouTube for Linda in the lynda.com or the Lynda portal instructions. I think it's a Zoom. So, and this is also being recorded. So when the lecture gets posted, I'll put it in the announcements and in the live sessions portion. And I try to send out the announcements as soon as possible. So if the link you get isn't quite working yet, wait 30 minutes and come back, and then it should work. Student Success Center. Everybody raise your hand if you have been in there to see somebody in the Student Success Center for some reason.
I have.
Yay, hands are blinking. I love it. I'm so glad you guys are experimenting and learning with the tools. Wanda is an excellent learning coach. DJ is our course learning coach this mod. She is a really good one. So if you get a phone call or an email from her, she's looking out for your best interest and wanting to help as much as possible. She is a great tutor. And then you guys can catch me for on most Saturdays in there and on Mondays. Here's a secret. And I'm going to tell away the secret. If you are not finished with either your assignment or your assessment before 11:59 p.m., I want you to turn it in anyway. Why would that be?
Because some points are better than no points.
That is one reason. Randall, do you remember?
I don't.
Well, here's the secret. Shh, don't tell anybody who hasn't watched the lecture yet. If you turn it in and it's not done, I will allow you to resubmit an unfinished project without a late penalty.
That's right. I remember that now.
So if you're late or if you turn in a partial assignment, because I want you to get used to the deadlines, don't worry, you get to resubmit it. So I don't want anybody fretting about the deadlines and calling me at 11:59 on Saturday and saying I can't get my homework in. Don't worry, turn in something. I don't even care if it's a comment that, you know, my date for extension is Tuesday of week 2. That's fine. Everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yay. Because I love giving everybody full credit.
I think it's great.
You know, I've been the student, I've been the instructor, I'm also the mom and the major in Civil Air Patrol. I wear too many hats to remember what's going on with everybody. And I know you guys are working parents or working singles and you're trying to figure out this whole adulting thing, because I'm 42 and still working on this adulting thing. I think it's going to be everything. I thought it was just life until somebody on Facebook told me it was adulting. But I want you guys to feel free to come to me and say, I need a little extra help. Do you have time? Give me a time and a date. And if I'm available, I will let you know. And if I'm not, I'll suggest an alternate time for the same day if I can. So I want you guys to know that I'm here for you if you need me. And I'm only a phone call, email, or Skype message away. And I'll be putting the Skype information in as soon as I can, assuming I remember what it is, considering I lose every password I ever make. But computer support. If you guys have a Mac, they don't exactly know what you're talking about when you call them and say, help. If you have a school computer, you can probably call AppleCare and tell them you're with College America, and they should be able to help you with that one. The help desk, really good when things in Canvas go wrong. And you guys have some research assignments due this week. I know it's bad enough when you have history and graphic design too, where I want you to actually go out and think about target audiences and actually look at them, you know, maybe look them up. If you cannot find the information that you are looking for in the library, you can use Google Scholar to find it. AIGA is a citable source, and so is Facebook, Twitter. They all have handbooks that you can resort to. Oh, and in case you're wondering, Facebook and Twitter are offering classes on how to make the most of social media and market networking. Yes, right, that's correct. Wikipedia is not a source. However, you can use Wikipedia to find a source. So if I were to go to Wikipedia, because everybody can log into Wikipedia and just change everything, and I wanted to learn about social media, got all this wonderful, great information, table of contents. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, all of their references are listed. Some of them you can actually access online. Others you may have to copy the book title and go to the library to find. But you can get some really good resources out of it. You just can't use Wikipedia itself. Go in and read their sources. See, it's got some awesome resources, which we tend to forget exist. See, all kinds of stuff that you can get just from one link, that because they have to post their citations just like you do as students. They have to have some credibility on there. However, if somebody goes in there and changes one paragraph to make a false statement, they've covered themselves by creating a reference for it. So if the reference doesn't coincide with what's in the article on Wikipedia, you know it's not a true source. So I hope that helps you guys find the things that you are looking for when you're starting your research this week. We do have our discussion this week. Yeah, see, I'm full of cool, nifty tricks on how to get through this kind of stuff. Your daily checkpoints. Who knows what those are for?
Extra bonus points.
Extra points.
And
Extra credit?
Attendance.
Yes and no. They do add 15 points of extra credit every week to your score. So I believe the maximum you can get is 106% in the course. But yes, Amanda, it is to track your attendance in class. You have to log in 4 out of 7 days and do something, whether it's posting to a discussion or doing a daily checkpoint. That's how they check whether or not you've been to school for accreditation, because, you know, that whole federal student, what is that? Federal Education Interference Department, whatever it is. The feds want us to track how many times you are logging into school, so that when your wonderful diploma reaches your hot, sweaty little hands like it did mine, and you're jumping up and down, that piece of paper means something other than I looked at a computer screen. So remember, this is something you're working for. And this mod, I'm your client. And guess what? I pay you guys to come to class. Anybody want to guess how I'm paying you guys?
By giving us information and grades.
I am giving you points on your grade. I give everybody knowledge. I give everybody grades. But you have to earn the points to get the grade you want. So you will get paid in credit points, not just the ABC of grading, but you will also take away the knowledge, as Amanda pointed out. And you will be able to, and since you are paying for an education, for most of us, education ain't cheap. So what I'm also paying you to come to class for is to send you out into the world to be able to make money to repay those wonderful student loans, which, darn it, I forgot to call the Great Lakes again today. But you guys don't have to worry about it right now because you're actually in school. So yeah, just be aware that yes, I am paying you this month. Your money is called points on your grade. Oh, I'm so glad my daughter decided to be a CNA and took a 6-week course and went to work at the hospital. That's paid for. nursing school. The hospital will pay for it if she signs a contract to work for them for 5 years after she gets her degree.
I have a scientist in the family.
Yeah. I just got to keep her from doing any chemistry experiments in her apartment in the basement. I don't need that coming up to the floorboards. Oh, Amanda, you must be really proud. Odie, you must be proud too. Well, I work with Civil Air Patrol, and I just had a cadet promote to the highest rank. She's a spots cadet now. First female in the state of Wyoming, and number 6 spots cadet in the state. And we will be doing her formal promotion ceremony in April because we can't get the governor and all the high-ranking people into town. We'll have to give them 90 days notice. So but she is now a cadet colonel, so I know what it's like. She could actually put in for a full ride to any military academy at this point. Oh, don't worry, Miranda, you'll get there. Oh, Amanda, so you know what I'm talking about. Having to put on uniforms, make sure everybody's clean and looking sharp, and then have them go wander around in a hill looking for an ELP beacon. Randall, we'll take you anytime. Okay. Oh, 5 through 18. Oh my gosh. I have 11 grandchildren starting at age 4 to 19, almost 19. But that's because I'm married to a man who's 70. Yeah, he's my best friend. Wouldn't have it any other way. He's like 30 years older than I am, and I love pointing out the old man hair in his ears. Okay, our discussion post this week, before I get too terribly off topic, yeah, we did not have open lab sessions. I kind of forgot to change this one. So, okay, due dates. Everything is due by 11:59. Your original discussion post is due 11:59 on Wednesday. And you have to do 2 responses by 11:59 on Saturday. It does say we will not be doing resubmissions. However, I can't say no to points, and you have to communicate with your client in order to get full payment. So that's what I expect you guys to do. However, in order to get full credit, I need you to stay caught up as fast as possible because each week leads into the next. This course, everything comes together at Saturday night of week 4. So you're going to be putting a whole campaign together. So if you need help to get caught up, let me know. We'll get it straightened out. But once you have all of your pieces together, you can start working on the middle of week 3 for your final, because it's not a quiz, it's a project, and it all goes together. So this week we're going to be doing creative briefs, and you'll be doing a whole design campaign based off the creative brief. Yes, Miranda. It would probably be best to take a different company than you've chosen before.
I just wanted to make sure due to the fact of me taking this class over again.
Yeah, when you take a design class over again, yeah, you have to do things over again, mostly because they count it as self-plagiarism. That's the school, and that's something I have to look into and have to investigate, and I have to have all the paperwork done for, cross your I's, dot your T's kind of thing. I don't know, Angela. If you have 2 design classes this time, I think you have until Wednesday to get a hold of the registrar's office. But most people have 1 to 2 classes every mod. It is kind of weird to get 2 design classes, but it isn't impossible. Yeah, that probably means that your general ed classes were full. Yeah, you can do it. I've done it. Try doing 3 in a semester. That was enough to make my eyeballs want to poke out of my head with an ice pick.
I've actually had 3 in one module before.
Aha, yeah. I skipped out on those start classes or fast start, whatever they were. So campaign, defined as an operation, military or political, and by the way, there are political campaigns that do hire graphic designers, is confined to a particular area or involves a specific type of fighting, and that is intended to achieve a particular goal. So for an advertising campaign, we are fighting for our clients that get somebody to pay attention and buy their product. So essentially, we don't really have to fight, but, you know, social media is always fun until somebody pokes an eye out or pops a key off the keyboard. A campaign, it's a sustained effort that's slightly beyond your day-to-day business, but it's still connected to it in some way. So what our clients are looking for this time is a new logo. They need their current logo recreated and then redesigned. And then they have to have social media, they need to have a magazine ad, they need to have a billboard, and they have to have all kinds of stuff that you guys need to put in your creative brief this week. So why do companies use design campaigns? It increases business. I don't remember what the statistics are, but kind of like the attendance in classes, it comes and goes. And right now we have ended the Christmas season. We are in the middle of tax season, and we're also in the middle of Valentine's Day season. So if you follow these trends and say how Walmart is decorating the stores 3 months early for back to school or for Halloween or Christmas, the conception there is that first in, first out. So whoever stocks the product for that season first is going to sell out first. They don't want to be left with any extra product, which seems kind of strange to me because when working for Walmart and back to school, there was always 900 million glue bottles to count. Okay. They want to increase traffic to a store or to a particular area of a store. They're announcing a new business or product. I thought it was just the coolest thing in the whole world when you could go to Walmart in Montana and not only have your eyes checked, but there's a walk-in clinic. And I'm going, wait a minute. I knew they could check eyes, but you're telling me there's an urgent care clinic in the Walmart? That's one-stop shopping right there. They can hand you your prescription and you can go to the pharmacy right then and there. Personally, I don't see why they just don't call it over, but you know, never mind. They put Christmas stuff in Walmart in late September. Yep, Brandel, that's because they are looking for that first in, first out concept. But I grew up in Oklahoma. You can't even get your eyes checked in Walmart, let alone go see a doctor. apparently the thought behind that was that you don't need to be seeing a doctor that accepts Walmart pay. I think they're a little wrong. I think they need to knock down those doctor prices a little bit. Amen, Randall. Sick to death of Christmas by mid-October. Yep. They're also announcing a rebranding of their company. I recently learned, actually, I learned today that the Air Force has changed its colors. Did you guys know that? I'm in Civil Air Patrol. I bleed red, white, blue, and gold right now. It's on every single uniform I own. So if I were to look up U.S. Sorry guys, I have these really long fingernails that I have not color codes. Really got to get over to the nail salon and get my nails trimmed. So Air Force apparently has a new color. Actually, Randall, it's not. If you have to go by the heraldry for the U.S. Air Force. So I have to use the darker blue, but then I have to use the gold, and I need this color for the gold. Yep. And then we have orange and original, and yeah. And it got to be a little chaotic this morning because I was designing a new uniform patch for the local squadron that my husband is in command of. But hey, it was a paying job. I'll take it. Oh, we don't want that one. Okay, this is what I had to change my colors to, and had to go from a shield to a circular patch. And you would think that the man who got his associate's degree while I was tutoring him would have known that a piece of vector artwork is going to resize if I send it to him in an SVG form or an EPS file or anything but a JPEG. And he wants a JPEG file to resize. And I'm going, don't make me smack you or put you in the old folks home for dementia. He knows that this is going to resize to the size of a billboard if I want it to. Then he forgets. Going, what planet are you living on, old man? You know this household speaks CMYK and vector versus raster. And he gave me this blank look. And I'm going, you're so pretty. Patted him on the head and left the room. Then he came in here and watched me put this whole thing together, which was not as easy as it looked. I'll show you guys the pieces later. But when you're looking at a branding campaign, you got to keep in mind your client's custom colors. And if that happens to be a color change for whatever reason, because it needed to be CMYK compatible, or it needed its very own hex code because of branding, and Coca-Cola was insistent upon it because they've branded that color. Me, I just wanted the color recipe. It's amazing what you can Google, right? Yeah, I know the stuff, and that's what he knows. But then he gets really upset when the eldest child tells me something and didn't tell him, and that I didn't tell him something about an email not getting sent, and I was unaware that he needed email sent to his brain. And unfortunately, if you tried to stick a USB drive into that ear to try and upload or download stuff, it's going to get full of old man hair. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you guys are laughing your butts off right now. Okay, so what elements are included in a design campaign? Vector logos, new or possibly updated, because there is a lot of business out there for people who created their own logos in Photoshop Elements, GIMP, because they were do-it-yourselfers and they decided that they needed a higher quality logo. So they will take it to a graphic designer and say, recreate this, kind of like all those projects you did in DES109, or no, it's DES103, 104, 105, 109, a little bit in 209, got some freedom in 113, 114. So from here on out, you're going to be working with more freedom, but more communication, more direction in where you have to go. Yeah, the kayak company in 114. I usually teach 116, which is e-color. So they have a new message that they want to get out. It's an overall theme. Come see us, we're turning 50 this year. Consistency, they want to make sure all the colors on all of their different devices are all the same color. Their printed projects need to be the same color as the online products. They also want designs, copywriting, they want office materials such as envelopes, business cards, letterheads. Then they need magazines, billboards, promotional pieces like cups. If you ever do a wedding, you can get a logo printed on 100 purple cups. Flyers, posters, and those social media ads. So what should be considered in a campaign? The message, what's the purpose of, and the overall theme of the campaign. Your client should be giving you that kind of information. Who's the target audience? They may or may not know. I think one of the companies we'll be working with this mod is called Chill Out. It is an ice cream company that's turning 50 years old. So who would we be targeting for that? What types of deliverables are they going to need? Are they going to need promotional pieces, keychains, cups, t-shirts, lanyards, whatever it is you can find? Competition. Are they fighting with Baskin-Robbins to get people in the door? Is there a Cold Stone Creamery just down the street? Is there a Dairy Queen around the corner? And if you're in the South and you know what Brahms is, please send me the German chocolate ice cream. Some days I would be willing to pay the overnight frozen shipment from FedEx. The craving is just that bad. So if you have a Brahms, go eat some and let me know how it tasted. Lauren, it's your job. Go have some German chocolate at Brahms in Kansas and think of me while you do it. Send me a picture of it. Use it for inspiration. They're also going to be looking for consistency, how creative you are, and a whole lot of other stuff. I know it says etc. because your clients will say, but can we tweak it just a little bit? And you guys can't see me pointing my head and holding my tongue out the direction and pulling my fingers in another direction and contorting myself to, you know, look like some of my clients do when they call me on the computer screen. What elements are included in the design? Oh, we did that one. So, basic design elements. Crap. contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. These are the 4 principles that a graphic designer lives by. And so do all children who hear their parents say that and they want to know what that is. Now you have the answer. I'm sorry, Miranda, I can't get to the ice creams. Exactly, Randall. But Miranda, I'm sure we can get Lauren to go get us an ice cream cone and eat it for us. She can have the calories and we can have the picture. So contrast. If the elements are not the same, make them very different. Okay, I'll be posting that picture in the announcements for Wednesday's class. So if you are using a sans serif font and you need something that contrasts with it, try using a script font like they did with the eye. Black and white, red is also a very good contrasting color with black. However, if used in excess, it looks like it's bleeding all over the page. So use it sparingly. Black and white, big versus small. Oh, I'm sorry, Amanda, we'll send you the picture too. We'll let Lauren have all the calories. And then we can send her pictures of drool. So iPod and Apple work out really funky colors when they come out with a new product. You guys have noticed that, right? They did that with the iPods. They did that with the Nanos. They have a new color scheme every time a new phone comes out. Ooh. Here's our A, I think. What happened there? Oh, adding contrast. Some of you guys might remember that image from DES209. Size, position, textures, orientation. Good. Glad you guys are remembering past lessons. You guys are so much better than my teenagers. Repetition. Everybody knows what this is, right? Especially those moms out there. Mommy, 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 mom. That's the basics of repetition. You're repeating a visual element of the design throughout the entire piece. I am so thankful that my grandchildren do not come over as often as they should, because that means nobody's sticking little fingers under the door going, Grandma, Grandma. Grandma yet, but I did change mine to Mom. My mother kept telling me when I was growing up, she was going to write a book and name it, I Know My Name is Mommy. Now I just tell bad jokes about her. And she thinks they're funny. I'm not sure if I should have her put in the old folks yet, but she's 6 months older than my husband. A little scary. Adding repetition, you can use colors, shapes, textures, line thicknesses, fonts, and sizes. I love combining the fonts and the sizes, especially when you're trying to explain something that means it's getting louder and you want it to be seen more. Like all caps is shouting in social media. Alignment. Randall reminded me to tell you the joke about Bill Cosby, thinking what his name was when he was a kid. So on the first image, we have 2 nicely aligned columns And then we have a side-by-side. We want to try and make aligned column instead of having everything all over the place.
I might need a muscle activator.
And speak of the devil, he walks through the door with food. Not fair. I can't eat when he's in here. Adding alignment, lining up the top to the bottom, to the sides, middle of text, or graphic elements on the page. Use the invisible line. Does anybody remember ever telling you to watch where your eye is being led? Draw it out on the page, print something out. Yeah, you guys are doing that, right? Because it's leading to better grades because you can tell where your eye is going. Awesome. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, and what is she talking about, this crazy lady that's teaching this course, I will show you in a bright, pretty yellow. So if I were to take this slide, for example, adding alignment, then I go back here because we're reading right or left to right. Because we are a Western civilization and that's just how we do it. Now, if you are Middle Eastern, Hebrew, Arabic, and that type, and you have gone to Hebrew school, you're probably going to be noticing that you read right to left. Now, if you are Japanese or another Asian culture, you are going to read down to up and right to left. So when you're trying to figure out where your eye is being followed, Randall, you must read more manga. Go pick one up at the Walmart library. I mean, the book section. Look at it because the cover it'll look like it's on backwards. The spine will be on the right side instead of the left. That's because you start reading the book from the back. I had a hard time convincing my dyslexic brother that that's not how all books are created. That was
That's why I asked you, because I am dyslexic, and it's kind of hard for me to read from right to left.
You mean left to right?
From left to right. How do I go? So I go right to left or go back left to right?
Yeah, it'll come up backwards for you. So that's where this technique comes into a good use for you. You print your idea off. Then you hand it to somebody who is not dyslexic.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you knew what I just said.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, dyslexic, not dyslexic.
Yes, ma'am. It's dyslexic.
No, it's dyslexic.
Oh.
You're right, it is dyslexic. However, I'm just as bad as you are. And it took forever to figure out which shoe went on the right foot. I mean, the correct foot.
Oh, wow.
My brother, to this day, writes everything backwards. So if he types, he's okay. But if he has to do it by hand, every letter is backwards. So it makes the whole sentence read backwards. I don't know how he does it, but it drives me nuts.
I understand.
I understand his pain. I've been there. My mother's there. She tells everybody that I'm at, Bass Acres. So it is really important for me to come in and realize, okay, this is the first thing I see. Oh, there's where my eye is going to get drawn to the next line. So it's okay to use the paper. It's okay to do a virtual drawing on your screen to find out what's the most important thing. What is popping out at me first? And it's okay to label it 1, 2, and 3 based on size, based on whether or not it's folders and everything else, whether it's script. It's okay to do that. And sometimes it makes that whole dyslexic thing slide into the back seat for a little while. So it's not so up in our faces. I had to do this with a ruler. I don't know how many times when I was in high school learning how to do graphic design by hand the old-fashioned way with an X-Acto knife and a ruler and a T-square and trying to figure out which hand was going to hold the knife that day. Ambidextrous does not go well with dyslexia. It's just a bad thing. You lose pieces of fingers that way. So yeah, for all of you in the class who are dyslexic, it just means that you are especially creative. It's not a bad thing. It's something that you can work with as a graphic designer as long as you have somebody that will proofread for you. You would not believe the things I have turned in to pass assignments into clients because I couldn't see the mistakes anymore. Yeah, we were designed that way. Yeah, I always have to take my mistakes to somebody else and say, here, proofread this. I need bright red marks on my paper. You can't just tell me, fix this, this, and this. You need to draw on it. So if you guys need special grading, let me know. I will be glad to accommodate you. But we'll be doing critiques on everything, so you'll be getting full critiques from everybody in class. It'll be great. No, nobody will know who's. Oh, Lita, I already know what you need. Besides ice cream. But yeah, we're going to have, at least on Wednesdays, we will be having a whole hour of critiques so that you guys will be able to get the homework done and through the next week because it builds on each other. Proximity. It's not a multi-session. It is an actual live lecture at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Which means while my family is away at church, I can do this in peace. You are at the end of multi-sessions because you are now in a 200 level course. So proximity, like things with like. Don't try to stick the square peg through the round hole. Yes, again, that is a do as I say, not as I've done thing. List items. You guys remember those wonderful menus? Gino's Pizza. Contact info, names, products, that kind of thing. Okay. It is now 7 p.m. I'm going to say let's take a 5-minute break and come back here fresh. Sound like a good idea?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, everybody get up, stretch your arms up above your head, wiggle your fingers, stretch your feet, put a kid to bed, whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Hi, Ezekiel. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be starting up in just a few. And the 60-second countdown has begun. Well, Miranda noticed that she had no sound and I was muted. And I told her that way you guys couldn't hear me yell at the cat to get off the desk as she walks across the E on the keyboard. This cat also sends out very positive emails. So if you get an email sent out to the entire class, it's because she stepped on the plus sign again and managed to send it before I could figure out what she's done. She does that with Skype a lot too. She just sits on the plus sign. I don't even know how, because she has to hold the shift key down at the same time. Of course, she could also open doors, so maybe she knows we all need a positive in our lives.
My Chihuahua can do the same thing.
The Chihuahua does not surprise me.
If I go, he's 18 years old, and I've had him the whole 18 years of his life. And if I go somewhere and leave him for a couple of hours, he doesn't get to go. For the next couple of days, I will mysteriously lose my keys. And I have a place where I put my keys. Well, he can get to my keys, and he will get them and he will hide them in his bed under wads and wads of cover. And then he will lay on top of them. And I have to physically move him and then shake the blankets out. And there my keys will be.
I have to admit that my keys go missing frequently. Mostly because I'm that scatterbrained like Dory. I just keep swimming along until I figure out what's going on.
Well,
but I always send my daughters to go look for my keys. So last year for Christmas, they gave me a tile for my keys. And it's an app and a piece of equipment that goes on my keychain. It's a little square. And if I tell my phone, or I ask Alexa to have Tile find my phone starts ringing, so I can't lose it anymore. And then I can have the phone find my keys with its little song. But there's an issue there. I'm deaf in one ear, so I have no directional hearing. So I can't tell if it's coming from the left or the right, up or down.
yeah.
So when we play Marco Polo in my house, it's Marco, I'm in the kitchen. Polo, I'm in the bathroom. Leave me alone. So the girls got me a tile to find my keys so I would stop sending them, but it didn't help because I could hear it playing, but I couldn't figure out where it was at. And it would always be in a coat pocket or a purse I wasn't using.
Yeah. Well,
So they're going all over the house looking for it.
mine's pretty much solely because of my dog. I'm telling you, if my kids were as smart as he is,
You'd have perfect children?
well, close.
My mother used to say that about her dachshund. If my children behaved half as well as my dog did, I'd have perfect kids, she'd tell me.
He definitely minds. And he's definitely, he's all about me. He is very loyal, and he's great. Except for, now I'm learning that if I'm missing something, because I'm a very organized person, everything has a place and everything should be in its place. And
I can't work that way. It's out of sight, out of mind. So it all must be on top.
I like these organized messes. I'm good.
It's an organized chaos.
I'm just
Exactly.
Because right now
I cannot function. I have to straighten everything up before I can focus.
No. Anybody who's had me in the Student Success Center will know I am anal about how you guys file your stuff on your computers. If I've ever taken your computer away from your mouse and then redesigned your layout for how you're supposed to be filing this stuff, you know that my filing system is impeccable. I know where all of my Independence University stuff is. It's all labeled by class. I know where all of my Civil Air Patrol stuff is. I know where all my Photoshop brushes and where all my texture pieces for overlays, pieces that I can take apart, vectors that I have paid for. I know where all of that stuff is.
Well, I need in that area.
But if you look at my office, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek, that is just the beginning of the book collection. I know where every book is. I know where all the colored paper is for scrapbooking and stamping. And then I know what each drawer has in it for rubber stamps, even though there's no labels on it. But on the floor back here, you may or may not be able to see the roller derby pile. So I live with this obsession that if I can't see it, I won't use it. And so you can't see my desk right now, but it is about, oh, I've got a Pepsi crate my computer screen set on to raise them up a little bit higher because they were cheap, like free. And all my external hard drives are stuffed under them, so I can't inadvertently unplug them or the cat run off with the power cord. But it's at least Pepsi crate high next to the printer that's also on a Pepsi crate so that I could see it above everything that's stacked on the desk. So I just keep going up instead of cleaning it off.
Well, I'm telling you, my closets and the insides of my drawers in any room could definitely be in Better Homes and Gardens. I'm not ashamed to show anyone my closets. My clothes are in color coordinated order. T-shirts are with t-shirts, dress blouses are with dress blouses, and then they go from color, you know, from black on one end to white on the other. So have blue jeans with blue jeans, dress slacks with dress slacks, and they're color coded. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It really is a problem.
Do you want to organize my closet?
Where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in Ohio.
Oh, sure. I'll be there on the next flight out, okay? I'm in South Carolina.
You're not too far. It's about 5.5, maybe 6 hour drive.
Sure, we could Skype through it anyway.
Right? Yeah, I've got 2 kids that like to run, chase, scream, all this and that, and they like
no time for organization.
No time for organization.
I muted myself, guys. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to mute my video, not my mic. Okay. Yeah, I muted everybody because we do want to go to bed tonight, right? I mean, Randall just found out he doesn't have to go to jury duty, so.
I don't sleep anyway, so.
I get about 3 hours of sleep. Get the kids off to school and go back to bed. So I can teach late night classes so you guys will show up. Okay, so creative brief. It is basically a document that defines the scope of the project for you and the client. It's kind of like a contract, and I'm beginning to think I need to use one of these to get the youngest to put the dishes away and clean the kitchen. Follow the crack principle, kiddo, you'll get it. Like with like, big to small, forks with forks, it'll be fine. So what to include? Who is the client contact person? Creative briefs for cleaning the kitchen. I don't think I can handle the amount of questions she would come up with to delay having to put them away. Everybody's going to try your creative briefs now to get their children to do the chores. You know, I could see that working with the laundry, maybe. The leggings go in the legging drawer, the tank tops go in the tank drawer, and the underwear and the socks go in the top. I don't care if they're matched as long as they're mine. I'm very simple. I can match them myself. I'm just tired of the youngest wearing my sock until it turns black, and then my socks don't match. Okay, so contact information. For the purposes of your assignments this week, you can use me or you can make up a client. You just have to put somebody in there. Due date. When is the deliverable going to be delivered? Your due date for all projects is going to be staggered. So you're going to have the recreation logo due on this Saturday, whatever's due next week for that date, week 3, week 4. So you don't have to go in and look for the dates, but I do recommend going in and looking ahead at the assignment so you can have a full scope for all 4 weeks. Most, you know, when you're in your general ed classes, they're telling you to stay with them. And, you know, I've even had instructors tell me not to look ahead. And I'm going, wait a minute. If I don't look ahead, I don't know why I need this information. What planet are you on? I have to look ahead. It's kind of how my paper's going to flow. Weird. So budget, how much is the client willing to spend? Well, since you're either going to have an imaginary client or you're going to use me, you can be my voice of reason and tell me how much I can spend. But when you are working with a real client, they have to tell you what they're going to spend and what their payment dates are going to be. 50% up front, 75% on first delivery date, last 25% due on the Saturday of week 4. So, budget. I know we don't like budgets. Budgets are no good for shopping, but they are great when you want to get paid. Got to have a main objective. What are you going to be doing for this client? Target audience. So for our pregnant mommies, target audience for the ice cream shop would be all mothers of young children and expectant mothers get free ice cream on Wednesdays. So you're looking at anywhere from, Lord forbid, 12 years old to 50 with young children or expecting. That's the kind of age range you're looking at. Everyone else is $1.99. Well, that's only for half a scoop, Randall. 12 to 50 is a very broad scope. And not to mention, if they're pregnant or have small children, it's still pretty broad. But then again, we've neglected the whole audience of the 50 to 90-year-old grandpa who has 11 grandchildren and wants to take them all out for ice cream on the same day. And then there's the calorie counters among those, because I was one of them. Who on earth tells a pregnant woman at 3 months that she's gestational diabetic and cannot have ice cream for 2 months or for 6 months? That's just horrific torture, especially when everybody's eating in front of you. So you might tell me the same thing, Amanda. I feel for you. And my ex-husband sat down on the floor with a giant tub of gallon ice cream and was eating that with his spoon while I had to watch. He's lucky he survived the birth of the first child. Next one, the timeline. I know, I agree, it's evil. But back to the creative brief. Timeline. So like I was saying, the budget and your due date for your deliverables, that's going to kind of flow with the way the mind goes. So you can structure your timeline and your due dates based on how weeks 1 through 4 are laid out in the assignments. So an objective. It's a concise statement that the material should have on consumers. And whether we like it or not, we live in a consumer society with evil doctors telling us that we can't have ice cream. Any questions, Vicki? Oh, okay, good. Call to action. This is usually buy me, sell me, or make an appointment. But 90% of the time, you're going to find out it's buy me. Yeah, 25% off. And 100% extra for all ex-husbands. We'll go with that. Call to action. So it needs to be clearly defined, and most of the time it's going to be a buy or sell me, depending on what your business is. Because if you're working in the classified section, it's either buy me, hire me, or sell me. If the client does not know what the purpose of the project is, you got to find out how the effectiveness is going to be measured. Are you looking for more foot traffic into the store? Are you looking for a dollar amount in sales? How do you want me to measure this? Because whether we like it or not, graphic design really graphic arts really differs from just plain old art, where it can be there for just the soul of being there. Oh, it's not a gang on men class, Randall. We told you could have a full scoop.
I know, I'm just being silly.
Well, at least you guys are having fun and you're actually, relating this to real life circumstances, which I'm loving, by the way. Gotta love it.
Randall being Randall.
Okay, it's not a man bashing contest. We do have other men in the room. Okay, so what is the most important message you want to convey? Well, for the ice cream shop that we have going on this month, they're turning 50 years old. That's a huge deal in a retail business, especially a small mom and pop business. My design firm is only a few years old. Oh, well, no, let's see. I graduated in 2013. My husband graduated in 2011 or 2012. Yeah, it was 2011. And we have been up, we're only 7 years old now. It's strange when I think of it. So, yeah, a lot of companies will just rebrand and then do all of their licensing over again because it's cheaper than trying to keep the same flow of business. So when I was growing up, my dad's company, before he was made a shareholder, and this is for men who dig holes in the ground and run sewer pipe, it was Salisbury and Sons. Then it was 5 years after that, it was Salisbury. Then it went back to Salisbury and Sons 5 years later. And then by the time my dad was sold with the company, it became S&S, because they already had the logo for the S&S. They just took the Salisbury and Sons out. They just kept the S's. Nobody knows what they mean anymore, but it was easier for that particular owner to just rebrand himself every 5 years than it was to pay for more licenses, because of that whole wonderful income tax thing. Make a frozen hot chocolate, you'll be fine. Okay, so the design questions you need to think about are, what colors do you like or hate? However, don't just put it out there, what colors do you like or hate? Oh, well, I like orange and purple. Really? You're gonna be a Vikings fan? So you take a look at what they have and you give them some options for their design scheme. You go prepared thinking, okay, I'm going to give them 5 choices of colors. I'm going to make 5 themes based on 5 different colors. And you can use Adobe Cooler for that. You can go into your Creative Cloud libraries and do that. You can even use Adobe Capture on your smartphones to do that. So it's not that hard. And I may show you Adobe Capture if we have time on Wednesday. So, what design style do you admire? Take a few company logos with you. Okay, do any of these interest you? Take a floral one, take a flourish, and take something that's geometric, something that applies to that type of company. I know we've got Fit Fun Food and Live Lures. I think it's Live Lures, fishing lures. So think about it. And if you're going to be marketing to female fly fishermen, and this chill out really need to be pink and blue, you can choose other colors. Oh, I'm sorry, Randall, but it is capable on your tablet. Of course, I've now probably blown Randall's mind. Tablet? What tablet? Tablet the school sent you. See, now you're up to date, Randall. What overall tone do you see for the company and or this project? Well, it's Everlure, that's what it is. Everlure right now is a black and orange color scheme. However, you know, you can decide whether or not you're going to be making a line of fishing lures that would be attractive to women who are maybe going to turn them into earrings because they're tired of waiting for their husband in the fishing shop. Just saying. Bass Pro Shops has a women's line. Why can't Everlure? Then you could turn around and take the purple and green colors that are being used for Fit Fun Food, Fit for Food, well, anyway, and make them more masculine so that it's macho to be in shape and healthy and eating right. Of course, I'm convinced that right now everybody needs to be on a white rice diet. That's a whole other issue. List 3 adjectives that describe your company. That one they can do on their own. Don't walk them through it. But for this purpose, you're going to be thinking about the logo and what you're doing. What do you consider success for this project? Full credit is success. And there is no excuse for not having full credit because I will take at least one resubmission. So if your homework isn't done on Friday or Saturday night, turn it anyway, finish it on Sunday, and turn it back in. It works, right? Okay, design is a process. So we have to create a timeline. So printed pieces. These are going to be your first draft, second draft, final proofs, the approvals, the company approval, the legal sign-off, the printing proof, press checks, printing, folding, drying, and shipping. Yes, it's a lot. There's testing websites. There's bulk mail for mailers. There are magazine ad deadlines, and the deadline could be next Christmas. So think about that when you're doing. We still have to have the ad done by the end of the month, but you got to check with the magazine ads. Are they publishing it in December? When is the December due date for submissions? So if you want to have this printed in July, you probably ought to think about getting that advertisement in pretty darn quick because those advertisement slots fill up for whole page ads. And they charge an arm and a leg for them, plus the designer. So we are designers, not accountants. It is not our responsibility to keep the project on the budget. However, we don't want to forget the cost of models and props. That's got to be added into the budget. Copywriting, do they want to pay for that legal fee? Do we need to find an attorney for them? Do we have one in our social networking that we can refer them to for that? Because we want to pass the work around. Do I have a photographer in my network that I can swing this business his way? Printing. Ooh. Do I have a local printer that can do large pieces at a reasonable price that I can send that work that way? Or do I need to send this out to a big chain that's going to print it faster? What's the cost of the media? How much is it going to cost to publish or boost those sales and those posts on the account for Facebook? How much is shipping going to cost for those bulk mailers? Potential problems. This is kind of where you get into a SWOT analysis. Remember strengths, weaknesses, opposition. I can't remember what the O and the T are. Okay, I'm asking a question. What does SWOT stand for? SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses. Oh, come on, you guys have had marketing. Oppositions, what's the T stand for? Please don't make me haul out my marketing textbook. Threats, that was it. Strengths, weaknesses, opposition, and threats. So always get written approval before the price changes over 10%. Most people are willing to accept a 10% increase. I also don't mind if you have a 10% discount. But don't forget to pay yourself. Too often we undervalue our work, so don't forget to pay yourself. So if you're freelancing, get 50% up front, remainder upon delivery. That's just one option that you can do. Anticipate time delays and the consequences for them. How much of a discount are you going to give your client because the printer sucked? Opportunities and threats. Okay. SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That makes more sense. I thought SWAT was using the paddle on a small child's butt for not getting out of bed, but I'm still stuck in that grandma mode. So anticipating the time delays. If the printer's late, how much are we going to knock off the client's price? Because we still have to pay the printer, but you know, if the printer's screwed up or we were late getting to the printer, how are we going to make that right with the client? So here are some examples. I'm going to copy and paste those in a minute to the chat box. Demographics, client research, competitors, color psychology. Remember DES114 or 116. Do you have to pay for images? And price. So keep all those in line or in mind when you are doing your research. And finally, we'll get back to class. The discussion this week is choose 2 of the topics below to consider in your post. What questions should you ask a client to understand what their goals and needs are for a project? What background research should you do before you meet a client? Hint, hint, I've given you a lot to think about. How should you handle issues of what they want versus what is possible for you? Right now, I have a commission out waiting for an illustration for a logo for a dog grooming business. Unfortunately, I gave the commission to a 14-year or a 15-year-old who is not going to get paid for this job. She's a week late. Many things can affect the client and the campaign deadline during the design and printing process of a campaign, such as press checks, printing issues, client approvals. So you could be late and it not be your fault at all, because the client didn't get the approval to you on time to go to press. You had to wait for another press time to open up. So discuss at least 2 issues that could arise and strategies to deal with or avoid them. How does professionalism how does professionalism when working with the clients affect your ability to obtain work and retaining clients? Remember, word of mouth advertising is free and it goes a long way in the service industry. And whether we like to think about it that way or not, graphic arts is a service industry. We are offering the services that we have to our clients. So when you think about it being a service industry and and we're right kind of along there with servers at restaurants, we don't get paid a whole lot. It may be a big price tag when we hand it to the client, but if we have undervalued our services, we don't get a paycheck. We end up paying all of the outward expenses, but then how much did we get paid for 40 hours worth of work? Now, look at it this way. If you have a freelance job from home and you can charge upwards of anywhere between $35 to $100 an hour based on your experience and services, kind of like your hair stylist and your nail tech or the barber. By the way, if you haven't had a pedicure, go treat yourself. You need one. That goes for everybody. But they each have services that they give us for a total price. They get tipped to post on to extra. So to servers when we go out to eat at a sit-down restaurant, not the drive-through kind. So how do we break that down? Okay, I get my hair colored. I pay my hairstylist about $90 is what she charges me. I always write her a check for $100, usually a little more at Christmas. And it usually takes her about an hour, not including processing, when she can cut somebody else's hair that she charges me for. So if I think about that, okay, she makes $100 an hour. That's pretty good wages, right? But then she has to divide that up in an 8-hour day for 40 hours a week. And if she doesn't work for 3 days a week, well, that knocks her down to what, 32 hours a week? Okay, so now she's got $100 divided by, oh, let's pull out the calculator, because as you guys probably haven't guessed, I'm not that great at math. But I do know that 8 hours times 32, 256 hours a month. Okay, say she had 15 hours of work at $100 an hour. So we take that 256 and divide it by 100, I think. She's basically getting $2.56 an hour on a 40-hour work week. That doesn't add up, does it? So we got to remember how many hours we're putting into our work. So as a graphic designer, I have this worked out. I could get $1,000 a month flat to be on call for a designer or as a designer. However, I only get 10 hours worth of work. Okay, it's $100 an hour. Yay, I make $100 an hour. But I only work 10 hours that month. See what I'm saying about undervaluing our services? You've got to be able to have the go get it to do the freelance to make sure that you can give yourself the paycheck. Otherwise, that $1,000 gets eaten up by the internet and phone bill every single month. Boy, I'm lucky there are 2 incomes in the family. So your reply requirements. 150 words plus your APA citation. Yes, you have to have a citation and a reference. That means that whole in-text thing that looks like this, and then the references that look like this. Are you with me? Please tell me nobody's snoring.
I'm with you. I get it.
Okay. So hopefully I have not confused everybody with math.
I understand.
Okay. I know the home numbers thing gets me every time. I'm thinking I need to get a child to go through accounting school instead of having to pay one. Pay one once a year for the taxes. Okay. Okay. For your assignment, you have a list of clients, and you get to choose one to work with. So you got Chill Out, Dharma Gaming, and Everlure, and Fit Fun Food. They have logos in here that you have to research, which is the logos are in your assessment, which we are going to do on Wednesday, and we'll do that together. So here is an example of the template of what a creative brief looks like. Okay, now this particular one was done in Microsoft Word. Do I want anything done in Microsoft Word for graphic design? No. No. Why is that? Well, that's because we are designers. We are artists. Am I using the creative brief to market my company to the client? Or am I putting all the client's colors on my creative brief with my contact information for the client? Me as a designer doing a creative brief.
This would be yours.
Correct. So you guys have the opportunity here to start thinking about your own personal logos. Okay? Like my company, I had 2 going through school. My husband used JTC Designs and did all the paperwork for it through school. And then I have a nonprofit one that was Gadget Geek Designs that did all the 5013C work. I didn't need a sales license for that. Darn state sales tax. So when I have one, let's see if I still got it. Okay, creative brief. Yep, there's a PDF. Wouldn't you know, I get the spinning wheel of death. There's no sales tax in Montana. And we have no sales tax on food or prescriptions in Wyoming. I didn't remember Oregon. I think I slept through Oregon the last time we went through. Anyway, here is an example of what mine looked like for my capstone project in DES209 for the bachelor's degree. It has changed a lot. I no longer use gradients. So you have to have a cover page. You have to have information to fill out. I personally leave plenty of space for scribbling and doodling. Why would I want to save space for doodling? Why would I have space for additional comments or notes? Ideas, yeah, something's coming to my head while I'm talking to my client, because I talk to mine on the phone all the time. Or I have Skype with them, or Google Hangouts, or Zoom, any number of things. Or they're sitting over my shoulder telling me what I need to do. Can you tweak it that way? Can you move it this way? That was making a patch this morning. Anyway, this is what you kind of want to design it. You want to market yourself on your creative brief. Now, you notice it says head geek. My husband, even though he's a co-owner, is supposed to be the marketing director and not a designer. If he can't remember what raster and vector are, we don't let him play with the clients. He just makes the appointments. So when you are thinking about this production for your client, yes, I am a big Doctor Who geek, so do not be surprised if gifts start showing up in the announcements for announcing when you need to have something in. Because who better to tell you what time it is than Doctor Who? Give them some samples of what you're going to be giving them. Give them some samples of what they could be thinking. The TARDIS is cool. Bow ties are cool, Randall. Don't remind me, I have too many referees running around with TARDIS socks and bow ties, and my daughter wanting to glue a fez to her helmet. So don't remind me. However, if you guys can remember how to make a really cool GIF, like you did in DES, I think that's 116, I teach that. If you guys can make a GIF announcing class using your favorite sci-fi anime combo, I will use it in the announcements. You must label it fan work, because we have to give credit where credit is due. So any questions on how that creative brief is supposed to look? No, you are going to design it with yourself in mind to hand to a client. Assume you have a business card to go with it. It's kind of like a job resume. You want it to stand out. So you're going to have 3 pages, you're going to have a minimum of 500 words. Please, if you need to, type it up in Word, copy and paste it into Microsoft or into InDesign or Illustrator if that's where you're more comfortable working. You've got to have your personal design elements and a reference page with APA formatting. It does not have to be double-spaced. It does not have to be in APA formatting. The only thing you're going to worry about APA formatting is your references. And that's just making sure that they're there. They don't have to be, you know, double-spaced, hanging indent. I would like some space between it so I can tell which reference, when a reference ends and what the other starts. You're going to save it as a PDF. You're going to give it that wonderful naming convention, and you're going to turn it in. Why are we saving it as a PDF? Anyone care to guess?
Because it can be edited later.
Well, it can only be edited later in very specific circumstances. It's a printable file. Yes, exactly. So everything that you put on your PDF file is going to, or in your InDesign file, is going to show up. Your research, you're going to be referencing any research you did on how much it's going to cost, how much it's going to, where is our PowerPoint? The cost of photography, copywriting, printing proofs, cost of media, how much is website going to cost to get up and running? How much are you going to be charging an hour? That kind of thing. And I've always based my hourly price on what my local service industries are getting paid an hour. Granted, I live in Cody, Wyoming, where everybody thinks they need to have $65 for a set of fingernails, but they want to do their logos themselves and use bleeding cowboys on everything. Yes, I'm shuddering. So if I see bleeding cowboys, Comic Sans, Papyrus, those types of fonts on your creative brief for actual text, we'll be having a conversation.
I live in a very small town, but there is a lot of need for graphic design here.
Exactly.
How
It's getting them to separate them from their money. That's the issue.
Well, it's actually a money town, if that makes any kind of sense. But it's old money. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think that I would possibly do well here, but I don't know where to start.
I started putting out my how much I was going to charge a client. I looked at the town that they lived in, because I work with people locally and I work with people in Oklahoma and Texas, and I have a client in Colorado, and I have a publishing company in Oregon, Dennison Brothers, that I do a magazine for. I charge what the service industry is looking at. Randall, you can start that with your Chamber of Commerce. As far as, Vicki, as far as your question is concerned about how to go about finding what you would charge a client, look at the service industry for hair and nails, and how much a tip you give when you leave a restaurant for really good service. Okay. I know we're all poor college students. We don't get to go out to places that, you know, aren't with golden M's on them very often. But when I go look at my person who cuts my hair, okay, she charges me $100 to put the color in it. She goes down by the quarter of an hour after that. So by the time I get a haircut done, I'm probably looking at $35 is what she charged me for that. So I went, okay, We sat here and chatted for 30 minutes. She cut my hair. Okay, $35 an hour works for me. And that's what I charged until I graduated with my associate's degree, or when I passed that DES209 class, because I just went full blown into bachelor's. And then once I graduated, went up to 50, depending on where I was being marketed at. And now it's based on the client and what their needs are.
That's
because I
sort of
work
the way I'm thinking also, and plus maybe trying to narrow it down to the actual area that I'm in, and cost of other stuff like you were talking about, getting your hair done. It's something like that would be probably in the range of 75 to 100 for what you just explained to me as getting your hair done.
Yeah.
Here.
So what you're looking at when you do that is, okay, do I feel comfortable charging that much as a student?
Oh, exactly. I understand that.
So
I'm surrounded by companies that are small companies. However, they have the corner market of whatever whatever their product happens to be. Like I live in a town where the name of the company is Pro Towels, and they are the sole supplier for I can't call the name, but for golf towels. The golfers carry around their bags, with the grommets on them. And they also have the market sealed up in one area of a beach towel. And then I also am very close to, and used to actually work for, an aftermarket convertible top maker for automobiles. And
okay, so you know that they've got the money to pay for a good quality design. So charge them for a good quality design.
Okay.
And that's going to be probably your mid to higher range while you're in school.
Okay. And well,
they'll pay a student where they won't pay a graduate because they think they're getting it cheaper, as I'm doing air quotes that you can't see. And then you're going to be thinking about, okay, as I transition into this, I need to give myself a raise every now and then. And you have to let them know this when you send out notices that it's a cost of living expense. You don't have to tell them what your cost of living was for, say saving up for your next vacation or your next student loan payment, but that's what you'll do. They'll just, when you graduate and you want to raise your prices, you just send out that notice to your current clients that that's why their cost is going up. Yes.
I used to actually work for both of these companies in the QA department. Mm-hmm. And I do know that at one time they did have a design, a very small design department in each of these places, which they have currently done away with. So
yeah, recession, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, but I was just thinking, maybe those two, since I personally know them,
yeah, that would be a good place to start. Find out how much they were paying their graphic designers an hour, and then you're going to want to double or triple that for. Oh, thanks for the link, Lee. It's you don't want to advertise for graphic design on Craigslist. They are really good place to go get information other than bls.gov, which I can click on. The United States Department of Labor. Not only can you find what you need here, but AIGA.org. They have several articles, and you can access the articles without being a member. And I know that Sean Childers Gray, good gravy, man, it's had so many name changes. Anyway, I know that they are working on getting a student membership and a student group for AIGA at the school going. So keep your eyes out for that. Those are going to be on Wednesdays at 5 Mountain Standard Time. But this website here has a lot of articles on how do we value ourselves as graphic designers. How do we justify charging our customers? And why is it important not to undercharge? Anybody have an idea why it's important not to undercharge? It lowers the average rate. Yes, Lee, it does. That means that people are going, like, you're undercutting the market basically for graphic design. And we want to live in a pretty world, right? A well-organized, easy to read and understand world. Not worlds that look like this. This is not easy to read, but it's everywhere because I live in a rodeo town and I can't make them stop. I can't make them think, okay, just use the A. It'll be fine. Just use the A and then make everything else readable. My eyes hurt going out of the house. Especially during rodeo season. I have every reason to want to stay inside. If it's not this, it's Bleeding Cowboys, or places that name their businesses Child Towing. Yeah, I have nightmares about this font. That and papyrus. Papyrus should not be used unless you are advertising for a desert oasis in Egypt. Just saying. And Comic Sans should stick to the Sunday funny papers. Makes perfect sense to me. However, papyrus does not belong as the name on any type of business card for a law firm. You can smack attorneys for trying to choose that one. Do not give them a list. Yeah, exactly. Papyrus is overused in Vegas. That is in Vegas. I could see that going with the Sphinx and Pyramid Hotel doing that, but the rest of it has no business there. None. They're not Egypt related. Papyrus. Papyrus looks like this. And you cannot combine comic and papyrus. I will not allow it. I will say, nope, unreadable, can't see it, don't want to know, just change your paragraph styles. And you guys can't see me making funny faces and waving my arms in the air. And yes, I do expect you guys to be using your paragraph styles because it will make updating your creative brief for use on a later project much easier. Yeah, and this is what happens when you combine two fonts that should never be put together. Oh, Chalk Duster's out too. You can't use Chalk Duster. That's for kindergartners. It's supposed to look like a crayon, guys. We're better than this, right? No Bleeding Cowboys, no Chalk Duster, Comic Sans, or Papyrus. So that's only 4 fonts. Everything else, fair game as long as it's readable. Until I find another font I hate.
Can you repeat that again?
Only 4. Chalk Duster, Papyrus, Comic Sans, and Bleeding Cowboys. If it says bleeding in any way, shape, or form, it's probably not a good idea for a personal logo.
I don't think I have any of those fonts on my computer yet.
If I were to look, I would have Chalk Duster on here, but that doesn't mean I have ever actually used it. Yeah, I have Chalkboard, Chalk Duster. But then again, I have a lot of fonts I've purchased and fonts that I have from the type kit. So, and there are a lot of, yeah. Well, remember, you can only download 100 or sync 100 fonts at a time before you have to go in and manage and remove some. But I do have some that I have purchased, like Noteworthy. Where's my Lemonade? I have Gabrielle. Hello Sunshine. But then again, I buy fonts from places like mydesigndeals.com, and they have some really cool ornaments that I can turn into symbols or use the glyphs. So I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this week. Yeah, I got a lot of pretty ones that I've paid for, and they were actually pretty cheap to get the license for. So if I come across a sale this month, I'll share it with you guys. Because they also sell cool textures, Photoshop brushes, and Illustrator brushes. So for me, that's all I have tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording unless you guys have questions. Anybody?
I don't.
Okay, so we are going to do the assignments on Wednesday night. So I will see you guys all back at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And if you guys want to see what the layers panel looks like on this patch, I will show you just as soon as I stop the recording.